Okay, what was shared by the community in terms of products that the
Ah,
B40 wanted
okay.
and suited their needs.
Okay. So let me answer the second question first, right?
Okay,
Because um, before we actually developed the product, we always had the intention to develop a micro Takaful product, right? And to give you a background on that, so we knew that this segment needed protection. They are the most vulnerable, as Siti Aiysyah mentioned in the research. I read her research report actually from page to page. So it is there's a lot of gap there, and social protection is important, and one of it is insurance. And you can't cover everything through the government provided assistance and stuff like that. So we know that that's something that we want to develop, but we never understood fully what they need, right? We before we actually develop advocacy, we've engaged a university. And I'm very proud of the university, University Utara Malaysia, UUM, one of our anchoring partner. We have various partners with highly engaged institution. I can name them all, but for this particular research, we engage UUM, and they help us go down and capture information regarding what type of a product that the community looks for, and also what are the price point that they are willing to pay, and what are the expectations once they pay this amount, right? You might think that they don't care or they don't think about this before, but in actual fact, they think about it a lot, right? When asked questions about um, what will happen to your family if you're no longer around, are you worried if they can continue with life and have financial protection and assistance? The answer is obviously yes, but then they will come back that but out there products are not affordable for us, right? There are things that we hear about it, we are interested about it, but then we can't really allocate that much because we have other things that we want to you know settle for, right? Food on the table, children to school and stuff like that. But they've always had this intent inside that they want to ensure they protect their families in terms of financial, right? So, and similarly to others, they want the same thing, right? In case they are no longer there, there's that financial safety net, that one amount of money that would allow the family to continue if a breadwinner is not there. They worry about health, if in case um, they fall sick or get into some of the critical illnesses, stroke, heart attack, diabetes, and stuff like that. There's one of I can't remember which report, earlier report produced by Khazanah Research Institute. All of you could actually Google it up. There are reports. I'm no, I'm not just saying this because Siti Aiysyah is here. I do enjoy reading Khazanah Research Institute reports because their reports are gives a lot of insight because there's a lot of effort put in and a lot it captures a lot of information that validates some of the things that we found, right? Health, poorer segments, they are more exposed to a lot more critical illness because they don't afford more. Their health system, their how they take care of their health is impacted, right? They sometimes lead more unhealthy lifestyle and stuff. So they know all these needs, right? They acknowledge that. So like you and me or anybody else is something that they want. The question is always few things from the report. A report by UUM that they found is how much affordability. Also, how it gets to them, right? They prefer to deal directly with us, the operators, because sometimes they find intermediaries scary with, right? Because all these stories, mind you, a lot of intermediaries are very good. I have friends there. I know they do this for a living, and a lot of them do it for out of sincerity of helping another. But again, it's perception, right? So all these are captured in the report, the UUM report. I think that report is made available to all the participants here. So if Siti Aiysyah you're interested, we can share with you. Like no problem. Right? A very good report by produced by UUM just before we launched advocacy in 2019. So that was, and you in the report it says, you know, when they were talking to, they met fishermen, they went to various spots of the Vivoti salmon, the urban poor, the ones in the farmers, the fishermen, various spots, right? And in around Malaysia in different geographic areas. So they, you know, they say, you know, obviously, I want some, and they captures all these interviews from the recipients, right? Like if I pay little, I know I get little, right? I don't expect more. So you get all this, right, in the report. So that was what we got. When we launched Every Kasih, right, and started to go out and actually speak to a lot of people and try to promote it, it wasn't easy. We again, coming back to the point that what was it? It was digital, and you know this oxymoron, right? Digital to the B40. Imagine a paddy farmer taking a digital product. You want to communicate that is a bit difficult. So when we came up with the product, we knew we couldn't cover everyone, right? We knew that it would take time to communicate to everyone. So, but we started off. But even then, although the report was there, and we know these are some of the feedback, even then, telling people about it is one thing, getting them to be interested in it. Even after telling them, it's difficult to at first to get them to want to take, right? There's always that stigma. But eventually, as we work around a lot of ways. So we from where we started in the first month, I was actually worried. We had that product, but we couldn't get it out. And then we work with a lot of partners. Right? We work with anybody, and at that point of time, first month, I think there was about only 30 cases. Right? Remember I told you first year 2019, within 3 months we had 500 cases, right? First month was about 30 or 20. I remember that it was a 2-digit number, and I was worried. Right? I thought that how can I make this happen? And we brainstormed with the team and stuff like that. We decided that we would talk to anyone who is interested in the same what do you call that, mission to get it out. So we spoke to anyone. We were digital partners. We work with Food Panda to get it out to their runners. We work with NGOs. We work with universities and whatnot. And we managed to get it out to 500 people. And we went through this way of working with a lot of parties, because these parties know better how to communicate to the people who already they're communicating to, if you know what I mean, right? And it's easier for them to engage with the parties that they trust, right? Food Panda, the riders go to Food Panda, engage with Panda to earn a living, right? And when Food Panda offered them, they saw it and they took it up. I'm very happy because last year there was one. Last year, was it this year? This year we had to pay one claim for Food Panda rider. I'm sure it's very nice. The late rider passed away, left his expecting wife, already gave birth, and those things actually gave more, you know, reminds the others as well that how important it is, right? So we've worked with various parties. I think one of the main thing that we I think that has been successful to reaching out to a lot of the communities is through this partner. And we are again not stopping here, because there are still a lot of people across Malaysia. With I would admit, right, that we haven't managed, and it's still a dream of mine. I think if my team is here, they will be just as annoyed listening to this, like going to East Malaysia to spread it out there, right? And we were working and we were looking for anybody who were willing to work with us on that. Anyway, I think I've taken a lot of time, so back to you, Alam.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Najib, for your detailed answer for regarding that questions. I hope our participants, they already got a clear idea regarding these things. Okay, my next question to Ms. Siti Aiysyah from the participants. Okay, how likely do governments or our governments especially would take on the recommendations proposed by the data-driven reports like on of the KRIs? What can youths uh, do to advocate for better social protection?
Thank you, Alina, for the question. So the answer is it depends. A lot of the times it depends on the appetite of specific government agencies, specific government bodies, and I think um, working in this space, I've learned that you can't think of the government as one big entity. Actually, within the government structure, there are different ministries, and then there are different agencies that cover different aspects of Malaysia's development. So for social protection, for example, the sort of stakeholders that we look at would include the Department of Welfare, SOCSO, EPF, and the Ministry of Finance. But in the development of the financial products like insurance and Takaful, you would also include Bank Negara, for example. And I think from my experience, how much they would take up the recommendation is how much of our policy recommendations are implementable to them in the short term, and especially if they try to address problems that they face right now. But also, I think part of the work that KRI tries to do, as well as I think one of the ways in which youth and advocates need to do is actually to keep on pressuring government to think of long term and big picture type of thing. To solve the problem of the day, we must not also forget future problems, as well as long term thinking about where policies are heading. So one of the examples that I can share is in the report we try to suggest to the government, or kind of explain the issue to the government, in the sense a lot of our policies tend to target very poor people or B40 people. But as I've mentioned earlier, actually it's not just a B40 or a poor person issue. People in the middle are also facing different types of vulnerabilities, and then you can go into these vulnerabilities at different phases in your life. And policy making has to be forward thinking enough to recognize that and design a system where you are able to help everyone and not just selected few in the population. And so when we talk about that, shifting the mindset from thinking of social protection as something that you give to people who deserve it, to actually it's supposed to be it's a comprehensive investment in a lifelong kind of protection. And that requires a little bit of thinking that it's actually a right of an individual to have access to this kind of social protection. But that is something that is not easily accepted by governments, because it's not really in their priority. They are focused with problems now. But again, that's where that's how we need to continuously advocate for this kind of thinking. And I think part of the solution is as well all of us to think of social protection as a right, rather than something ad hoc and something that you only think about when you are in trouble. And I think collectively, all of us can prepare for it and invest in institutions as well as systems to help us reach towards that goal.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Siti Aiysyah. Okay, let's move into Mr. Wan Najib. So we have few questions from the students to Mr. Najib. So I think you are ready. Yeah? Okay, the first questions. How many percentage of the B40 at rural area actually started to subscribe micro Takaful plan after it is being introduced and being digitalized?
Okay, this is a very difficult question because I don't have a straight answer for this, right? Because one thing is that it's very difficult to monitor this, right? And to me, to be honest, we haven't found the best way to do it. I want to come back to what Siti Aiysyah also mentioned, right? And while trying to answer this question, because the answer is I don't know, right? And I won't tell you something that I know. I know there are people who takes up from the rural area, But I don't know how much and things like that. One thing good, and I'm not saying it's good. One thing that has forced Malaysians over the pandemic period is that regardless where you are, who you are, right, urban or rural, you need to start being more digital literacy, digital literate, because when we were in lockdown, everybody had to stay at home. Kids had to study and learn through devices. Although a lot of issues there, we're not here to talk about that, right? But people started to be to become accustomed to digital devices. So we do see a spike or increase in people from everywhere, regardless urban and rural, taking up Kasih. Right? That's the point. But coming back to what Siti Aiysyah mentioned was very interesting, because from the report it says that we shouldn't look at just the low income into social protection, and similarly into inclusive Takaful, we want to make sure everyone gets it. From the Takaful perspective, this was always been the segment that did not get a lot of attention before, in the sense that there were not we always knew that we wanted to go there, but we don't have products there. But I also personally feel that, B40, whatever it is a label. Right? I really, when I talk about Kasih, I don't talk about that. And how we design Kasih as well, it was designed with that in mind. Because even during pandemic, like as I mentioned, right, across the segments, even you're in the middle income, when things happen, they drop. We heard, I don't have data to validate or reports to pull out offhand, but we know that during this pandemic period, we talk about B40 become B50, maybe it's now back to B40, we don't know, because it moves, right? Entrepreneurs was impacted, people lost jobs, who might be from the M40 or even T20. So this is very, it moves, right? Life moves, life changes, change is constant. So when we develop Kasih itself, but we know that it is meant for the more affordable one, and because we actually designed Kasih with some freebies inside it, so we had to put some cap. But we developed it in the sense that it was 5,000 per individual, which differs from the B40 definition provided by the government, right? It was 4,800 per household, right? But here, Kasih is eligible to anybody who earns 5,000 individual, right? And it covers a lot of middle income. Because we know, even during that period of time, suddenly you were earning 10,000, suddenly you lost your job and earn 5,000, you still can take it up. We don't care. Because at the end of the day, that's the intention, is to ensure that you get protected. And you have that social, that financial protection impact in case of anything happens, whenever, whatever period you're facing or condition you're facing. That's at least the intent we have. So while I'm diverting from that question, well, my point is the rural and thing is something that, to me personally, when we do this, we put it secondary. But there will be, and we are looking at more efforts to actually, again, looking for partners who can work to get our products out to the rural areas. And there was another question, was it? No, that was the only question, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Najib. As I told you earlier, you have two questions from the participants. I think now I'm moving into the second one. So okay. I think I will be expecting a short answer for this one. Okay. Okay. Sorry, let me read out this one. Okay. The question is that there are a specific section or department in Takaful that is created for B40 in terms of doing survey programs and creating products.
Okay, for us, we don't. I don't know about other companies, other operators. Well, for us, we want to embrace inclusiveness, right? So everybody looks at it in their respective area. So the same product team who develops products for everyone else will look into developing products for this. Just not B40, even disabled segment. We are into that as well. The people who operates who looks at the process or all this application doing claims are the same people as well. For us, because a lot of this product needs to be affordable, so that's why it's digital, and hence a lot of products are under my purview, under the digital distribution team. So yeah, so it is, our approach is there's no specific department or people who looks at it. We want everybody to embrace inclusiveness when we offer our product, so everybody is involved.
Okay, thank you. I think with this one, we have already in 9:15. I think our time is already, is knocking at the door. That means the time is finished. So I think the session is really interesting. It was really interesting session, and we got so many questions from the participants, what we expected. Thank you for your active participations. When we believe you will, work hard to be the first. And if you be the first, the big box will, is waiting for you. And that's so many. I think we are all waiting for the party. So we believe you will invite all of us. Okay, thank you all. Thank you to all respected panel members for your insightful sharings and the comprehensive sharings. The question and answers were very insightful and informative. I believe all participants will be highly benefited from this great session. So it's okay. I think with that one, I would like to, I'd like to finish these sessions, and I would like to pass the session to Ms. Alina. Alina, thank you.
Thanks, Alam. Thanks, Aiysyah. Thanks, Najib. Before we let the panel leave, I just wanted to hear maybe like one last advice you would give our participants, as they only have 1 week to really think about the challenge. If there any advice you would want to let our participants think about before they go into thinking about solutions.
Well, ladies first, so give her advice.
Yeah, so I think the organizers sent me one interesting question, which was on pelindungan tenang specifically, and I looked a bit into, what were the key issues and what were the key problems, and I think the principles of pelindungan tenang is really, really good. The idea is it's not just affordable like what FWD is doing, but no, it also needs to provide good value. It needs to be accessible, easy for people to understand, easy to purchase, and easy to claim. And again, remember that the community that we're trying to help, face all sorts of constraints, income constraints, time constraints. And they're fighting in terms of thinking about where should they spend their resources on. And the idea is the services would be so much of added value if you don't put so much pressure on people in terms of how much time that they need to commit to think about protecting their people. And so I think going back to the principles of having something that adds value and easy for them to understand, I think is really, really important. And I hope the team can come up with innovative ideas to hopefully help more people in this country.
Thank you, Aiysyah. Najib, how about you? Last advice.
Okay, now I'm mute. So I think Aiysyah covered a lot of the more technical, not technical, the more specific advice to carry that. But I will echo her last words, like helping more people out there. So it is a week. This is a challenge. I know there's prize money out there to win, right? And it is good motivation. But if you really want to win this, or really want to make a difference, right? We are here together on a very noble mission or noble intent, right? The challenge that is put forward to all the teams is something that can actually make a difference to a lot of people out there, right? I actually didn't know that it was half an hour panel. If not, I would have said something else and more things about certain things. But what I'm saying here is that you have this opportunity, right, to brainstorm each other for the next 1 week. You have resources made available to you. You have people you can ask. You will be meeting a lot of mentors who would be able to guide you from FWD Takaful. Take the opportunity, extract as many information you need. Speak out to people out there. Do what you must and embrace this challenge that is put forward to you to innovate and make that difference. Be that advocate. Be that that voice, right? That voice that would bring Takaful to everyone, especially to the people that that really need it, right? And again, coming back to particularly for this challenge DB47. So with that, take this opportunity. And again, that's my only advice. Take this opportunity to make that difference in through via this challenge and all the tools and resources that are given to you. With that, all the best and looking forward to seeing the innovative solutions that all the things will come out with.
Thank you, Najib. Thank you, Aiysyah. Thank you so much. I learned so much from the short half an hour. To everybody who was here, I hope you guys paid attention because Najib is one of your judges for the finale on the 12th of December. We are going to take a 5 minutes break, 9:25 back here. 5 minutes break for you guys to stretch, go to the toilet, come back at 9:25. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.